Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be running all the Inferno 3 raids for the first clear experience. Let's go. So kicking off with the highest difficulty boss, this is Sagara. So this boss is a first clear for most of my warband here. So in total there's 8 of us for this, 8 warband members. We managed to get the full warband together for the raid, and we'll all gain the first clear experience for it. So although I have completed this boss previously, it was after I'd done my weekly raids, so I didn't actually gain the first clear experience reward. So that's what we'll be getting from this today. And this first stage, you have the 4 legs of Sagara that you have to take down before you can actually do damage to the boss himself. So let's take a look at how quickly it takes us to defeat him. Basically, a few of the warband members are under the combat rating and also under the 500 paragon as well. So we were hoping to use these raids to boost everyone to be around the 500 paragon mark or close enough. Well, that really didn't take long at all, and we defeated that boss, pretty much just melted him. Obviously, I know this will be a lot harder in the gauntlet difficulty. That is something that I'm hoping to attempt with my warband later in the week or possibly next week. But that really didn't take us long to take that boss down. Super fast, a lot quicker than I thought it would be. So next up we have Zikar, Ice Leviathan. Now this is a boss that quite a few people struggle with because there are just so many different attacks, and sometimes it gets caught up in the ice beam phase, and it's pretty much impossible to get past that if you're just one player by yourself. So hopefully that won't happen today. As I mentioned, all of these raids are the Inferno 3 difficulty. And this is one thing that does bug me with these bosses, is having that immunity there. It's something I'll probably feed back to developers again. I did feedback about Ischia, and they did make the change with the immunity on that boss, because I basically explained that sometimes it took longer to take Ischia down than the harder difficulty bosses. So sometimes our comments do get taken and put into practice, and actually changes are made from it. So if you ever have any feedback on raid bosses or anything like that, let me know, and I'll obviously pass on the feedback when I can. So yeah, that is one thing that does bug me with Zikar and Dag, is the fact there's still immunity. Paragon level 502 hit there. So because I'm gaining the first clear experience, I'm getting 2 million experience points for each of these raids. So that should level me up quite quickly. I'm already at Paragon 500 before we started these raids. And this is filmed on Monday. So these were our Monday raids as well. Next up, we have Zikar, the Breath Collector. So again, this boss has a few different phases, which sometimes gets people a bit frustrated because it can make the raid a little bit longer. Hopefully we'll take him down as quickly as we have the last 2 bosses. Let's go. So Zikar is similar to Zikar and Dag in the sense that there's quite a lot of phases to this boss, and unfortunately, even if you do damage really quickly like we have here, obviously you do hit those immunity walls with the boss, and sometimes it does still go into the phase of splitting, which is really frustrating because like this, where it's split into 3, you know that if it was just going to stand there and take damage, you'd be able to take it down really quickly. Now, it's also important to use the cleansing lanterns in this raid to disperse the mist, because obviously the mist will cause damage to you and your teammates, and you can't sometimes get close enough to each aspect of Zikar without having that cleansing lantern active. Now, despite doing that damage really quickly there, we entered this phase of this boss as well. So he's now split into 3, and the real version of Zikar is hiding in the mist, and it's always the last version you go to, which is super annoying. So it's kind of best to try and get everyone to go to a different aspect of him in that phase. But we did manage to complete it in a decent amount of time. Just like I said, annoying with those immunity phases. And I don't really understand how to stop certain phases triggering with that boss, because as I mentioned, sometimes you can be doing the damage and taking him down really quickly, but it still goes into those phases. So now we have the next boss, which is Entreer. So let's see how this one goes. Again, this one has quite a lot of phases to it, and also immunity as well. So let's hope that we can take this boss down quickly. So far we're making good progress. 3 raids in in about 4 minutes so far, which isn't bad at all. And I'm going to check at the end to see if we managed to make it on the leaderboard for warbands as well with the raid time. So now the immunity is removed, you'll see how quickly my warband can actually take this boss down. And just like that, another raid completed. And we've also hit Paragon level 503 now. So yeah, awesome to actually be gaining these levels from the first key rewards. Here I can't pick up any more warband chests because my stash is full of them. If you do ever have that happen in the raid, if you just keep continuing with your raids, those warband chests will actually go to your mail and you can claim them from there once you've got the space in your inventory. So Pesthel, the Under-Earth Empress, is the last boss now for Inferno 3. So we're going to complete this raid, and then, as I mentioned, we'll look at the time and see if we manage to make the leaderboard. Now this was some kind of lag or bug here, and I'm not talking about the boss, but as you can see there's like an invisible barrier that me and half of the team could not get through. So I'm not entirely sure why that happened. It's happened a few times in different raids on entry, and I have no idea why. As I mentioned, it could be lag or it could just be a little bit of a bug there. Seems to be when a particular warband member enters through the barrier first that it happens, so it's something I'm definitely going to test and look into at a later date. But obviously this raid is pretty straightforward. A lot of you know this boss by now. I do have a video up for it if you're new to Diablo and if you've not completed this boss yet, so I do have a video for that if you want to see the different phases and understand this boss and the mechanics of it a little bit more. But as I mentioned, this is the final boss for us to kill in Inferno 3. So should be pretty straightforward, and just like that, boss defeated once again. And I am so close to the next Paragon level, but I didn't manage to hit 504. Now, we did make the leaderboard. I was super happy about this. We made it in 6th place. Now, this is amazing considering we are not a whale warband at all. So I'm actually really happy with that result. My guys have all worked really hard on their builds over the last couple of years and made their characters super strong without obviously having to spend loads and loads of money. So that is it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.